Just send me
It's
an
on.
email. I'll
It's
shoot
on.
it to you.
Okay, thank you. Mark Patterson is going to be a little late. There's a lot of traffic out there, so I'll start the meeting off. First, let's call the meeting to order. And roll call. Mark Browning,
Here?
Mike Town,
Yep.
Ronnie Barra. I think you're muted, Ron. Ron's muted. But Ron, I can see Ron's name. He's here. He's still on the Big Island. And Martha Torney. So 4 of the 5 of us are here, and Mark Patterson is on his way. So the first thing on the agenda is approval of the meetings from the approval of minutes from the meeting on August 14th. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ron. So the meetings have been approved. And now we're going to move into the monthly update of the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation from Director Tommy Johnson. And Tommy, I see you there. Thank you.
I'm here.
Can we?
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay,
glad
so
you turned
I'm gonna go down the list. I got quite a bit. So if I go too fast, let me know. I'm gonna try to slow it down some. Okay, so with respect to OCCC, there's some misinformation out there about it being it's being called a super jail, which it's not. So the facility is supposed to be 1,300 beds. 300 beds would be reintegration beds, in particular those who are parole and probation violators who come back, who don't have to go back to a hard bed, and then for furlough and purposes. OCCC is designed for 628. We average about 954. So the 1,000-bed jail is about where we've been for a long time. The additional beds are increases so we can push people downstream faster, which is into work furlough, and so that we don't have to put probation and parole violators with minor technical violations back in a hard bed that costs more money. In addition to that, you should know that we reevaluated the CTC at the proposed site for the new OCCC, and we've decided that instead of building the CTC there, we are going to expand the Lamaka work furlough site to 240 beds and bring down the OCCC from 4 floors to 2, maybe 3. We're working with the architects now on a conceptual design, what that would look like. We have decided that it would not be advantageous for us to try to purchase that portion of land that the Navy owns. They wanted $20 million for it. That was just too much. And so where the CTC was going to be is where we're going to expand our footprint, but bring the facility down to lower in height, which will make it far less complex and considerably less costly than a 4-story structure, right?
Tommy, I just have one quick question. When you talk
Sure.
about you would expand then Lamaka, is there a large enough footprint at Lamaka to be able to expand it?
We would actually raise Lamaka, use module 20 and the other module in OCCC across the street temporarily, and then rebuild on that site.
And you think, and how many people then do you think you would fit on that site,
It
Lamaka?
would be able to fit, the bed space capacity would be 240. And so once we did that, we would then take the folks out of module 20 and move them over. And then the existing population there is about 80 something. I'm not sure how many in module 20, but that would put us right just under about 160 something, I think. We'll have to go back and look at the numbers for sure. The projections showed that we would have 300 people that would need.
Tommy,
Yes.
there's another question.
Sorry, real quick. What is CTC?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a community transition center. My apologize
Okay.
for that.
No, thank
So,
you.
At the same time, too,
Tommy,
we're looking at. Go ahead.
Short question. What's the average stay at somebody at Lamaka, if you know, or ballpark it?
4 to 6 months.
4
Because
to
once
6.
they're there 4 months, they've established employment, they have some money saved up, then we need to look at placing them on extended furlough where they're actually living in the community so that when they appear for the parole board, walking in civilian clothes, they'll walk out on parole. Some, it may take a little bit longer to find employment, and so they may be there a little bit longer, like up to 6 months. Our policy now allows us to place people in furlough up to 2 years prior to their TPD. And honestly, that is the goal for us, because if we can get them to work furlough that early, let's say they spend 4 to 6 months in work furlough, then they out in the community after about 5 months or so, they're now on extended furlough. So then they have some time built up in the community. They've stabilized jobs, stabilized a place to live. And so we believe that they then would have a better chance of being out on parole. Now, they have to qualify to be community custody 2 years before the TPD, before we can move them. But we're working on a classification system. We will get Christian a copy of Professor Janet Davidson's final report soon. We're still going through it now, but we'll get that to you, and you'll see the recommendations, Christian, about our classification system and the changes that we need to make.
Tommy, are you comfortable with not just chair to set, but people actually being paroled? The timelines, is that speedy enough for you or not speedy enough?
Yeah, it is. I just had a meeting with Gene yesterday, and one of the things we looked at, I talked to him about, he has to talk to the Attorney General's office about it. Right now, they'll say chair to set upon verification of residence, right? What I suggested to Gene was go to the AG's office and see if you can change the language to parole is effective 120 days out,
right,
or earlier if residence is verified. The reason why I asked him to check into that is if we got an actual date of projected release, then we can get them on the 1115 waiver, so we can get them programmed into the services they need walking out the door. So he's going to talk to the AG's office about that, and then he'll get back to me. And without that date, if it's chair to set with no date, then we can't get them enrolled. Right.
And so when you say Gene, you're talking Gene DeMello, the chair of the parole board.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have said that. Yeah, I had a meeting with Gene DeMello, the chair of the parole board yesterday afternoon. And we talked about mental health cases as well. So.
Hi, Tommy, I'm just trying to add up the numbers. Initially, you had the CTC at the proposed site in Halava to be 300. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so now instead what you're proposing is rebuild Lamaka, which currently has a capacity of 96. So actually, 96 and 300 would be 396, but you're proposing 240, which I think may be adequate.
240 total, Martha, not in addition to.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Because I liked your idea that you presented before, that you want to use the CTC also for people who may be taken back from probation and parole to ease them back into the community quicker. And
right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to bring up that concern. I want to make sure you still have the ability to do that, because I thought that was a very good idea.
Yeah. And just so you know, the other reason we did that was because one, it's already close to the major transportation lines, right?
Yes.
And everything, so it's good. Okay, so that's what we stand with OCCC. We gave that information to our consultants. They're working on it now. We had a meeting yesterday regarding our consolidated healthcare center at Halava. We looked at some of the preliminary designs. It will increase from 41 beds to 43 beds. They will not. The bids will go out next June, and we hope to have the bids turned in sometime by October, September, October, and then have a review of the bids for that project. Next on the EMR.
Oh, Tommy, can I ask a quick question about that?
Yep.
For Halava. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about moving like the current medical space down to the lower level area, right? And building that out?
We're going to build it out. Yeah, build it up. Yes, that's correct.
And then, so what happens to the current medical space? Is that going to all be in addition to, or is that what's going to happen to the current space?
So that's going to be in addition to, but we're going to reconfigure the space once the construction's underway. We're going to reconfigure the space. So we're going to have a number of exam rooms, the natural lighting issues we talked about, the special windows, dialysis rooms. We'll have 5 ACOs on duty at all time. One is a sergeant, because it's 2 different ends. When we get a little bit further in the planning process, I would like to have the consultants come in and provide you guys with a presentation so you can take a look at it and see where we are, see the layout, know about the staffing. We're going to need to request in 2027 in order to man it. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now next is our electronic medical record system. We awarded the contract. Someone put in an appeal, but they withdrew their appeal. So now we've awarded and we're proceeding with that is the electronic medical record system, the one we have is old and antiquated. And so the vendor comes out here next week to do some reviews of the system and meet with some of the high-end users. And so from that, they will begin to put together the new EMR system for us. That is a multi-year contract. This is only phase one, which is $24 million. But this will be much better than what we have now. With respect to offender track, the current system, as you know, was built in the early 2000s. We have a new system. We have a contract for the new system that will go into play here soon. It's going to take a little bit of time. Motorola indicated to us that they would stop providing updates to the system in 2026. And so we're going to have to limp along and hopefully have the new system up before the end of 2027, but we will have something up before the end of 2026 for sure. That's going to meet our needs. We held a number of employee wellness events in addition to the resource fairs for the inmates. So we had a financial wellness event on May 6th. We did a wellness fair at TSD for employees on July 7th. On August 19th, we did a financial wellness fair, estate planning webinar on September 9th. We did a financial wellness, Social Security, Medicare webinar. We have a lot of folks that are coming up on retirement age. On the 9th, we also did a wellness fair at WCCC, and on the 25th of this month, there's a wellness fair scheduled at Halava. A lot of these wellness fairs are to address some of the morale issues that was in the survey and talk stories that Christian and her staff did. And it's only the beginning of some of the stuff we need to address, but we're trying to address the morale issues in these ways. We did a number of resource fairs. On May 15th, we did one at the Hawaii Community Correctional Center at Halinani. July 17th, we did one at Halava Correctional Facility. August 28th, we did Waiawa Correctional Facility, and we're planning for one at the Women's Community Correctional Center here in October. I think the Women's Prison Project is working with Noni Galanta, the warden, on a separate, what they call Ohana Day that will take place sometime in late September, early October. We're trying to work with them on the planning. As you know, we did a number of Keiki days at different facilities. This Ohana Day is not just for the kids, it's for families to come in for a special visit. We'll have food. We'll have some things for them to do, some games and entertainment for them to do there. The Women's Prison Project has helped us out a great deal at the WCCC, and so we really appreciate their partnership and their assistance in a lot of areas. With respect to our recruitment efforts, as you guys know, we held 3 classes in 2024, 5 classes in 2024. We're holding 8 classes, ACO recruit classes in 2025. During the summer, we were in all the theaters. We're going to have additional radio spots. We will be in every bus. We have a Champion of Change poster with our QR code on it. We will be on every bus on Oahu from the 1st of October to the 31st of December. We've held a number of job fairs. That's helped us out a great deal. We have about 43 emergency hires throughout the state. We're looking for more emergency hires. What we're finding that is for the ACO emergency hires, they know what they're getting into. So those that go to the academy tend to stay, whereas those who come off the street and we send them to the academy, we're seeing a higher than normal attrition rate. So we're trying to work with them to figure out what the issue is. So one of the things we're looking at doing is getting them into the facility sooner so they can see what it's like to do searches or things like that. We're even looking at maybe having them go to the facility for a week initially so they can get a feel for what's there, to be with a trained ACO. We're trying to figure it out because we're losing about 3 to 4 out of every 10 that we put in within the first 90 to 120 days. And part of the problem is, to be honest with you, they're getting burnt out because the seasoned staff are not showing up. And so these guys end up working, newly recruits are working, 16 hours. And unfortunately, some of the housing units, we really can't put them in by themselves. And so that's part of our challenge. So we're working with UPW now. We're consulting with them on a new ACO attendance program. So we're at the point now where we're about 60% done. There's some questions they have, we just answered. We're waiting for a response back from them on some key issues. We're trying to address the attendance because we have the salary of a corrections officer is about $68,400. The average corrections officer who's abusing FMLA and sick leave is coming to work about 72% of the time, but they're still making over $100,000 with overtime. So we're trying to address the attendance because we need to get guys to come to work. We're looking at incentives, particularly for our mental health unit and our challenging housing units, where we pay them additional money hourly. And we hope some of the senior guys will pick those posts because they have the experience, and that will help with their high 3 for when they retire. I talked to Brenna Hashimoto about a number of incentives that we were looking at. Unfortunately, some of them have to be presented by the state in negotiations because other jurisdictions are affected that have BU 1 and 10 employees. Some of the things that we can do on our end that we don't have to go through is the incentive for the different housing units, including the mental health units. And then I wanted to take and pay for corrections officers who come to work at least 80% of the time for their regular shift, not to overtime, and providing they have vacation leave on a first come, first served basis. We would allow them to turn in up to 2 weeks of vacation leave beginning on the 1st November through the 5th of December. The reason why I say 80% of their regular work time is that would be approximately 80% of the time they would come to work, which is 10 months, which is greater than the a little over 7 months. And 2, on a first come, first served basis, money we had left over from the vacant positions, which some were paying overtime, this would be an incentive for them to have money before Christmas, and it's kind of a reward for coming to work. And so that actually, because they're coming to work, that actually reduces our overtime costs. So that's where we stand on what I can do on this end. The other things that have to be negotiated with the state and the state negotiator. That's all I have for now. So subject to the commissioner's questions.
I have a question. Don't you have to do the participants first?
I have a question too.
Oh, yeah.
Question.
I
We're
almost
just
forgot.
looking at order of how we have to
Sorry.
do it. I think it's the.
Sorry, they have to do
participants
public
first.
comment first. I forgot.
Okay.
Public comment.
Hello, everyone. Apologize for my tardiness today, but we're going to open up for public testimony at this time. And a reminder to the public, your questions are directed to the commissioners at this time. You can signify by digital raising your hand. George, let me know if you see anything I don't see.
Okay.
If I
we
don't,
see it.
if I don't see any comments, Martha, you want to start with your questions?
Yeah, Tommy, can you come back on camera?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
I just wanted to make a comment about the offender track. The offender track was implemented for Y2K.
I see it.
And so it became live late November or December of 1999. The most difficult part of it was mapping the transition of the data from the old system to the new system, and you end up losing a lot of stuff. So just pay really close attention to that, because we did have some problems in doing that.
Yeah, the vendor looked at the system, and we had the same concern, Martha, because offender track had everything from every bed the person ever stayed in, disciplinary history, transfers. So they're going to do a pilot. Part of the phase in is a pilot data migration, so we can make sure that the data is migrating over. But that is a good point. Thank you.
And then again with the archive, because we did keep the old data for even people who were no longer in the system, but they were migrated over to the offender track. Okay, thank you.
Good point. You're welcome.
Kristen?
Yeah, going back to the employee wellness events, I was just
Yeah.
curious, like how many staff are attending and if they're sharing any feedback, if they appreciate it, if this is something they're looking for. I really appreciate you doing them. I'm really excited to hear about it. And so I was just curious if you're getting any feedback from the staff and how attendance is.
Okay, I can go back and I'll talk to the wardens, and I'll get how many people attended and see if we got feedback. But there will be one on the 25th of October, 25th of September at Halava that if you have time, you might want to consider attending. Give Shannon a call. The one yesterday we know was well attended because we had people come in for lomi massages and stuff. It was really nice. There was some wellness events and there were some everyone there we had people from Native Hawaiian culture talking about herbal remedies, people from wellness. We also had folks from the credit union there to talk about financial wellness as well. So, but okay, I'll circle back on some of those and I'll have them get back to you and I'll get back to you on them.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Director, good morning. I'm sorry,
Good morning.
Mr. Lindblad, did you want to go?
I want to go after the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. My question goes to a report that was issued. I don't know when it was issued, but there was a Civil Beat article about it this past week about the mental health evaluation, an evaluation by two nationally known experts of the mental health circumstances, conditions, and systems within OCCC and Halawa.
Mhm.
And specifically, my question is, do you have access to that report? I would assume you do because it's part of a special order in that case.
Right. Yes, I have the report. The attorney Eric Seitz was given a copy. Federal Magistrate Ram Trey was given a copy, as was our mental health and corrections leaders. And one copy went to the AG's office, Deputy Attorney General Kendall Mosier, who's representing the state in that case.
I'm picking up mine tomorrow.
Okay, so we're going to get a copy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have one prepared already for the commission.
I appreciate that, Director Johnson. I was interested in whether the report specifically made recommendations, if you can tell me, not necessarily what the recommendations are, but recommendations in terms of how to fix the issues and problems. I would assume
Yes.
it did.
It did,
Okay.
and we're providing a presentation to the legislature on the 16th of October on not just the expert report, but also on Act 292 on the restrictive housing measure. And we've already formulated what's called a Form A. We took the recommendations from the report and we formulated a Form A to request for resources to address it. So even though they only went to OCCC and Halawa, we looked at the recommendations, we looked at our weaknesses in every facility and our strengths, and we came up with one Form A requesting resources from the legislature for this coming session. I did notify Christian yesterday that once we finalize the Form A and we submit it, that I'll provide a copy to the commission so you can take a look at it, complete with the justifications for the positions and resources we're asking for.
So I assume those requests, and I'm happy that you're doing it. Obviously, I'm the conditions that at least I read that were reported in that report were the same conditions I think all of us on the commission have observed, and I'm sure you've been requesting help on this matter for some time. My point being that do the recommendations, or rather resource requests, include a request for being able to bring in more mental health treatment individuals?
Yes.
Like psychiatrists, psychologists.
Yes, it's quite a substantial request.
Right.
To the tune of about $6.5 million annually.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
But here's the thing with the report. While some people may say it's damning, it's bad, but we asked them to tell us the truth. We asked them to be as frank as possible so that we could go to the policymakers and the legislatures and say, listen, this is what the experts are recommending. Now we must act because now we know what the issues are. We see where the weaknesses are. We've known where the weaknesses were for a long time. It's just a matter of getting the resources, but not just that, but making sure that the legislature hold the department accountable when they give us those resources and we put those resources in place to fix the problem. Too often there's a Band-Aid approach where we only get piecemeal of what we ask for, and so we can't really do everything we need to do. So I'm hoping that the legislature and budget and finance and the governor supports this department. I'm hoping that they see how dire the situation is and that the request, though it may seem like a lot, the alternative is much, much worse.
And I totally agree with you, and I appreciate the fact that you requested the report. So I want to commend you for that. And I would say that, at least from my part as a commissioner, I am fully supportive of whatever efforts you need to convince the legislature to provide you with this type, with the resources that you need, because this particular issue permeates throughout the institutions, and you see it. And it really comes down to basic human rights, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you.
I think the challenge for us, though, to be honest, will be filling some of those critical vacancies where there's critical shortages throughout the state. And how do we get those higher level professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, APRNs to want to come into the correctional setting to help us affect the positive change we need?
I agree. Agree. Challenge.
Mike, anything? Ronald, anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Just a comment. It's good to hear that you're being able to solve some of your vacancy issues utilizing the temporary hire, emergency hire process. I just want to say one more thing. I do know that because he heard is Oahu centric, that the neighbor islands, they have a means of. In some of the conversations we had with the neighbor island facilities, they've always asked us about, how come we can't get our own ER emergency hires, and we think we can recruit at this level. So I'm hoping that the neighbor islands' voice is being heard at this time so that they can recruit from their communities the emergency hires. And I do agree with you that. Go ahead.
No, we've always given the wardens the ability to make a recommendation on an emergency hire. Jerry's pretty good about it on Kauai. Kramer was pretty good about it. I'll talk to Leanne to make sure she understands that you guys can make recommendations for emergency hires to us, for sure. But so thanks for letting me know that. I didn't realize there was a miscommunication there.
Okay, thanks, Tommy. Mr. Limbaugh, Black, did I say that right? Did you want to comment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I coming through? I'd like to thank Mr. Johnson, and I'd like to share with the board my firsthand experience at Oahu Prison, OCCC. I think that there's a barometer there that treatment of people coming and going from the jail over many years. I've been coming and going to OCCC since 1980. Mr. Johnson's done a tremendous job. I was just out there 2 weeks ago introducing a new licensee. I was warmly greeted by a very professional person, showed the new person all the ropes, etc., how to come and go, where to park, where to deliver the proper paperwork. And to do so much with so little, I just want to make sure that you, the board members, the commission members, know and realize that I've been doing this a long time. And Mr. Johnson's tenure here has, with what little he has, is exceptional service. I just wanted to tell Mr. Johnson thank you and let the other board members know that I think service at OCCC is outstanding. He's able to get the person out in a reasonable manner, in a timely manner. We're able to get the proper information. These are all crucial in the pretrial process that we've had difficulty with in the past and we no longer do. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Limbaugh. Appreciate that. Let's move on to item number 5. Thank you, Tommy, for the report. Appreciate you. Overview of the Oversight Coordinator's report.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Johnson. I'm the Oversight Coordinator. This month, we have a few different things to report on. So starting with a death in custody, I had briefly mentioned this one during our last meeting, but I have the official information now. On August 9th, 2025, at approximately 8:46 a.m., a 63-year-old Asian male in custody was found unresponsive at the